Hello guys and welcome to an NGB video review. I'm Ben and I'm joined by Andy.
Hello there.
And I'm joined by Jonathan.
Hi.
And I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm playing Gravity Rush 2. Not particularly playing it very well at the moment.
You're kind of falling about all over the place.
So that's kind of one of the key things about
it is a bit,
about Gravity Rush 2.
As Buzz Lightyear might say, it's falling with style.
It is indeed. Yeah. So yeah, you can hear in the background there. There's the timer ticking down. Now we've kind of joined in a very chaotic scene. So at the moment, I'm playing as Cat, who has weird, crazy gravitational powers. And I've just been joined by a friend of mine from the first game, who was presumed dead or missing, presumed something.
Missing wanted.
Yeah.
Do we need a hashtag spoilers on this one?
I don't think so, considering that
it's not that far into the game.
The splash screen of the game actually shows the person
this is true,
in
yes.
question as well. So yeah, like.
Oh yeah, you shot that one.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, Gravity Rush. The first one came out on the Vita initially. Considered by quite a lot of people to be kind of like the crowning jewel in the Vita's library.
It was a hell of a lot of fun.
To say. And yeah, like mechanically, it's quite a dense game. There's a lot going on. You know, you have a lot of things to. Oh, hello! I just got hurt by the explosion. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So essentially, the key thing, the key mechanic in the game, you press R1 and you start floating, and then you use your pointer to essentially point where you want to go, and you control gravity to move in that direction. You've got some cool powers, like you can create a stasis field, grab stuff, throw things at people. So at the moment I've got that big rock flying around. If I focus it on him,
Splat.
just throw the rock in his face, why not?
Ouchies.
Yes.
And you can control the aiming using either the stick or the accelerometer, which is something you don't get on a lot of PS4 games.
You can, but I have turned off the motion controls because I found it incredibly irritating.
If you're not used to it, I guess you would do that accidentally quite a lot.
Yeah,
and that would be bad.
You're going to need to find some
That's
help.
the thing. I am. That's what I'm looking for at the moment. I'm just looking for a little green.
Have you got a little familiar, like a little buddy? Is he
That's
a cat?
Dusty. That's Dusty the cat.
I want to know more about the cat.
Okay, right. Let's just get past this bit.
Well, Jonathan, the cat is what gives Cat her powers.
Indeed. Oh,
And now
No
Cat's
way.
dead. Yeah.
That's like her totem thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
like the Dusty the cat is
Right.
is you know, from the first game again. It's like a little cat. That give you gravity controlling powers.
Sure.
You know, because why not? So unfortunately, we now have to do this little bit again.
Okay. Where is the cat though?
There's the cat.
Can I look at the cat?
There's the cat.
Can you pet the cat?
It's like
Probably wouldn't want
it's
to do
made
that
of-
while there's a firefight.
No, it's made of stars and stuff.
But can you pet him like when he's not in a fight?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ah,
Ooh.
1 out of 10.
They don't like you.
No. So yeah, Andy, you've played a little bit.
I have played a little bit.
What do you think?
I had a lot of fun with it. It's good. I mean, I like the first game on the Vita as well, and this is. I mean, it kind of takes things further slightly. I think the storytelling's a bit better in the in this than it was in the Vita, obviously, because you've got a much more versatile format for it to be on.
Yeah.
And the environments are a bit more varied. They're a bit more interesting than the Vita one was, which was essentially the same city, but you just visited different areas of it.
Yeah.
Visually, it's a cracking looking game. I mean, it's
it runs really well. I've not seen any frame drops, any performance issues, things like that. Should probably clarify, we are playing this on a PS4 Pro.
Yes.
I don't know how enhanced the level of
your
support
mileage may vary.
is. But yeah, like I love how you can just grab them and then throw them off the edge of ledges and stuff.
Try doing that to your men down there, because they were giving you some grief last time, weren't they? No.
Yep. So
throw rocks at
if
them.
I land here, you can create like a super stasis field, which then he's currently in the midst of my. Okay, he's now very dead.
You threw him quite a considerable distance.
Yeah. So you can. There are quite a few upgrades available for Cat in the game. You can get like more gravity powers. You can get a lot more kind of like combat moves and stuff like that. It's quite, as I said earlier, mechanically there's a lot to it.
There is.
So there you go. There's
the tech trees are quite detailed for what you can actually upgrade as well. It's,
yeah.
You know, I'm playing Deus Ex Mankind Divided at the minute,
yeah.
and that's got similarly sort of complex tech trees to this, which I was quite surprised to see that in a game that it is on the surface quite straightforward.
Yeah.
it's got sort of hidden levels of complexity that you really actually have to explore.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one in the room who hasn't played this yet. But from watching you play it, it looks fucking amazing. I really want to play it.
It's a bit mental.
It looks fantastic. I love the mechanic where you're floating around and shit. And
Yeah.
not just flying, but just floating around. That's so new. Yeah, I like it. It looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I
want to get on this.
It is good fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are. I do have some minor quibbles with it.
Okay.
The first one is that whilst the mechanic of sort of floating around and stuff is, as you say, it is great and it does look really impressive. One of the things that I do find is that a lot of the time, there we go. A lot of the time, there are like just moments where you'll have like one target or you'll have one mission marker, but it'll be like 500 meters away. So you'll just have to float like randomly until you get there.
Ooh,
not the most interesting
didn't want
transit.
to do that.
Yeah, so I think whilst the levels are a little bit more open, I think that the problem is that it just seems to be a little bit too sort of separated.
Yeah, there's not like a fun way of getting around, especially. It's just like you're just
I mean, so
floating from A to
sometimes,
B.
for example, you'll sort of jump and then it'll be like, oh yeah, head up there to that thing over there, and you'll just basically hit R1. You can hold X to go quicker.
Yeah.
But like you'll basically just go and go and go and go for ages until eventually you get there.
Yeah.
But there's a certain elegance to that as well, and the world is quite nicely detailed. And it's quite nice to sort of see things rush past you.
Yeah, I mean it is when you're on the same level as the thing that you're going to, but then sometimes you have to sort of float up through the sky, and I'm very nearly dead again. I desperately need to find some. I'm dead. God damn it.
Talking and gaming.
Yeah, it's difficult. So, I mean, we'll very quickly. You mentioned about the tech trees, Andy. So we'll just very quickly when the game when it goes back to the screen, we'll have a look.
MG,
Matt,
you've played this, haven't you?
I was going to say, Matt, you've had a bit of a go. I know it's not your style of game, but did it have anything to you where you thought, you know what, this is actually pretty good, like the art style. It looks really nice.
A typical game like this for me, when you first start off, it's not cutscene, but it's dialogue after dialogue after dialogue, and it's not a game for me to get started in, so it bores me straight away.
So would you have preferred it to have been like, say, fully voiced and animated rather than just actual dialogue?
I would have preferred it if they sort of tell you as you're doing it, tell you not let's cut off into this dialogue. And
I mean, there is a lot of those sort of anime cutscenes where you've got like a comic book style storytelling, and that was the same with the first game as well. Yeah. So you know, I think if you played the first game, you know what you're getting coming into this. So these are the tech trees, as you say. That there's quite a lot of stuff in them. I mean, you can go all the way through to there. So at this point in the game, you know, there is quite a way to go still. But like you've got a huge amount of stuff. So gravity gauge recovery boost, additional dodges, things like that. And then the gravity slide, which I'll show you in a second. Let's power this up now, actually. Instant fill. So,
I can see what you're saying, though, Matt, about the dialogue and stuff, because I think there are better ways of telling a story than just having lots and lots of dialogue in a game. Because I mean, you're after all playing a game and not reading a book.
There's your gravity slide.
I appreciate your frustrations with that.
There's your
well,
gravity slide.
there's an argument, and I think a lot of people tend to aim this at sort of Nintendo's games like Zelda, where there's a lot of reliance on written dialogue rather than voice acting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bother to me, but I can sympathise with people finding it a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that keeps costs down. That, that keeps lots of things down, and ultimately, like when you're going through the dialogue sections in the game, there are moments where it actually, that they reuse the character pictures and things like that to tell the story. So you'll see the same image of Cat looking slightly bemused several times, maybe in the same conversation. So again, it's obviously a cost-cutting measure, and like there is a lot of voice acting in the game, but none of it's localized, which again is
it actually a specific?
As the first one.
Is it actually Japanese, or is it kind of a gobbledygook language? Because I couldn't quite.
If I knew Japanese, I'd be able to give you that answer. But
I didn't know whether it was.
I have no idea.
I couldn't quite tell whether there wasn't any phrase. And I mean, I watch a lot of sort of anime stuff, and there wasn't any specific phrases that sounded like they were actual things to me. There sounded to be a lot of sort of you know how games tend to sort of sometimes make up sort of like noise to kind of fill in. So sorry if there is, and I've inadvertently insulted a lot of people.
You may have offended a lot of people.
I may have offended a lot of people, but
so yeah, Andy does not represent the views of NGB or its parent
or anyone else on the planet.
All silence.
So yeah, this is a quick look at Gravity Rush 2. I have quite enjoyed it. I will state for the record that the review that will go up is not going to be based on a finished playthrough. That's simply due to time constraints. But I will put a review up, and then if the story turns out to completely ruin the game, then we'll mention it. But,
would you say that getting the review done in time was a bit of a rush, Ben?
Anyway, that's our video review.
2017 Mark Wellen House.
Oh,
Yo dogs. Is this coming out as a full price title, or is it going to be sort of a double A budget? Not budget, but mid price title.
I actually don't know. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
We'll put an annotation in to sort of correct me on that one if indeed it is a budget title. But yeah, it's together. There we go. So that's the same cutscene that I had before.
No, it looks like it's going to be a full price title.
It is a full price title.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like it justifies it in terms of the. I mean, again, we'll just go to the world map.
Yeah.
So this is sort of where I am at the moment in here, and the world map. As you go up.
Oh, that's big.
There's a lot of space there to cover.
Yeah. So the thing is, as well, that's not necessarily all like left and right world map type stuff. It is obviously up and down because of the structure of the environment as well.
Okay.
So
it's got a very nice map because it does kind of flow and show you the different sort of Z-axis levels of it when you're localized.
Yeah. So if you
really
kind
nice.
of you can sort of just make out that. Like, for example, this part here is higher than this part here because you can just see the edges of the map and things like that. So as you move over it, like this green area is like Le Havana, is one of the higher levels of the city, and that is in fact as well where like the sort of higher the well-to-dos, if you like, the snobs live.
Yeah.
Affluent. Affluent area.
That's the word I'm looking. No, they are snobs.
That's a diplomatic word.
They are dickheads.
Okay.
Oh,
Proper
posh
dickheads.
that wasn't it? The affluence.
Le dickhead.
The dickheads live. And then right at the very top here, you've got like the barracks. Where you've got to go. That's currently one of my story objectives at this point in the game.
But you have got to defeat the big mechs.
I've got to defeat the big mechs. So that is our review of Gravity Rush 2. Keep your eyes on the website for the full written review. As I say, we'll get as much of it played for the review as we can. We are a little bit further along in our review playthrough, but yeah, it's enjoyable. It's good. As we've said, it looks really nice. It runs really well, and the gameplay mechanics. If you've yet to play the original Gravity Rush, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how well this whole thing actually works. Because, as we've mentioned, some of the mechanics in this game are really good, and it does seem at times that they kind of almost overuse them, but. I think the nice thing is that, as with, I think I said about Uncharted 4 as well, like you get to a point where just as you potentially start to tire of a mechanic, it kind of turns around and it goes, oh, actually, no, we're just going to subvert it a little bit. Yeah. And give you a new way of doing something else.
I'd say, just to sort of side it off, it's one of those things that we don't tend to get a lot of these days, which is what I would call a Sony game.
Yes.
It's got that sort of Sony feel to it. That's sort of slightly quirky, does some really different, interesting things, got a very definitive art style.
Yeah.
And,
It's got a cat in it.
It's got a cat
in it,
yeah. It has indeed.
Has won it for Martwell.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it. Thanks for joining us, guys. Please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.